This is my June wrap up for the year 2020. No Barbara Walters. Definitely comment or timestamp anything that resonates with you in this video. I would love to hear what people have to say in the comments. I love reading them and responding and having a little conversation out there in the comments, so definitely do that. So I had plans to read like a whole lot of books in June because it's like Pride and we was about to be blacking it up, but also very gay and very like LGBTQIA plus out this bitch. And those plans got changed because I had to go back to work. I don't know what was it, phase 2 or something of reopening the city happened, and my job was okay for like us to go back to work, which was pretty good. I appreciate the fact that I have a job to go back to, and I'm grateful and thankful to have that. But I also was kind of like, I don't want to go back to work yet. I got videos to make. I got books to read. I done told the people. I got like, I don't even count the amount of books that I read. Well, at least the books that I said I was going to read, because I think it's 20, something like that. It's 20. It's a lot of them. They up here. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And then I was like, after that, I was already adding books like Magnifique Noir and The Black Veins because I already had them, but I didn't think about them like as books that I could have added to my TBR. So I was just like, oh my gosh, what? Like, it's so many books that I wanted to read, and I wish I'd like, going back to work has cut my time down again in reading and being able to do videos, just being able to just have a lot more time within the bookish community, just to like watch YouTube videos plus make videos plus edit them plus read. Like, it's cut that time back. So I'm trying to like mitigate and prioritize like how I'm about to be reading, how I'm about to be like making videos and all that. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out, just trying to sort it out and organize it and get it together. You know what I'm saying? I did manage to get some reading done, so you know, I didn't flop. Going back to work didn't really hit and kill like my reading vibe. Like, it really didn't do that, so I appreciated that. And partly because there aren't as many people, like, people are still quarantined, so there aren't a lot of people in transit, so it kind of made being able to read a lot easier. It made getting to and from work a lot easier and faster. I was glad I still got a good amount of books out the way. It wasn't easy because some of the books that I read were still a little bit more hardcore, so they weren't like light, fluffy, easy reads. I want some more fluffy, easy reads to read, so that would help get my numbers up, but it would also just put me like in a good mood, like give me a lot of great endorphins, because it's like, ooh, light and fluffy and easy, and I appreciate that, and give me some validation that like, yo, I'm out here getting my reading done. You know what I'm saying? I'm reading books upon books upon books within a month. I pretty much start off the month, I think, finishing, or at least finishing, if not starting the month reading Let's Go Swimming on Doomsday. I enjoyed this a lot. I appreciate Jessie for talking about this book. It was an interesting read. Although a white woman wrote it, she wasn't messy. Like, that was one of the things, like, knowing that a white woman wrote this, I was like going through the book like, girl, let me make sure that you're not gonna get messy and you're not gonna do some wild shit up in here, because I'm about to talk about it, sis. Like, no, you're not about to be like talking about black people and a black protagonist and being crazy with your mouth or with your pen or whatever. You know, you're not got to be that. But she was very nuanced. I just loved Abdi. I appreciated Abdi so much. I appreciated how he was written. There was a balance of like, he's going through some hardcore tough times, but there was also still a lightness and a levity to reading from his perspective. There was still like a relatable, like, he's just young, a teenage boy going through some hard stuff, but he's still like, yo, he's still got hope. He's not completely like this broken person. Even if he's been physically broken, he isn't like broken down, like destroyed. He's still giving there's still some black boy joy going on, and I appreciated that from reading this book. And I appreciate Natalie C. Anderson for doing that. I'm looking at the praise at the back of the book. She also wrote another book called City of Saints and Thieves, And I think I heard somebody do a review of that before, so I'm interested in reading that from like one of the blurbs back here. It says a teenage Congolese refugee in Kenya seeks revenge for the killing of her mother. And they did a little thing where they said a blend of the girl with the dragon's tattoo, Elizabeth Salander, and X-Men Storm. Which that intrigued me because then it sounds like a badass black female character. And I'm here for it. Like, I want to read that. So I definitely check that out. And since Natalie was not messy with this book, although she is writing outside of her own experience, being a white woman writing about a black character, I definitely, I want to say trusting her as doing a good job, because she does say in her author's note that like she did a lot of research, and she also expresses that this is one perspective, one narrative, and this does not encapsulate all narratives of young black boys or of black boys who grew up in Somalia and in Kenya. Like, it's not just, or in any African country. It is one narrative, and there are other narratives by own voices that we can also read from. This was a great book. I enjoyed it. I love this cover. This cover is so beautiful. Like, she's like, you got a great artist for this. I liked it. I'm wondering if the artist is Kadir Nelson. I think I actually didn't look into that. After that, I started reading An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon. I buddy read this with Jesse of Bow Ties and Books, and I also did a live discussing this with Wendy of Book Nerd TV and with Erica of The Broken Spine. And we had a great discussion of this book. This book was great. I enjoyed it a lot. Well, not fully enjoyed, because there are some harsh, hardcore, heartbreaking parts in there where like utter violence against black bodies are going on in this book. And just a lot of very intense, very hardcore just things that happen in this book. But it also still has a balance of friendship, family, connection, community, love, care for each other. Like, there's still a balance of that. There's still lightness in there, but it's also still like lightness while in darkness, and in oppression and destruction and depression. Like, it's still that in there. It deserves multiple rereads just to get more out of it, just to get the vocabulary out of it. Like, you learn so many new words if you don't already know these words, because there's a lot of words in here that I didn't know that are not commonly used, that I need to like get a dictionary and just like write those words down and write down their meanings and look them up. It's a good book. It's deeply layered. I feel like if you love Octavia E. Butler's books, I feel like you'd enjoy this. Although I have not read an Octavia E. Butler book yet, I do think that River Solomon was inspired by Octavia E. Butler. I do feel like Octavia E. Butler fans would definitely get into this book and enjoy it a lot. Since they do tackle race in these sci-fi worlds, they also tackle sexuality and identity. I definitely need to give it a reread. I would not mind buddy reading it again with someone, because I think it makes the process of reading this book a little bit easier to buddy read it with someone else, because there's a little bit of support going on, because it's a lot of hardcore, heavy-hitting things that happen in here. Some major violence and trauma against black people and black bodies. So it would be great to read this with someone else black. I'm also hearing great things about their second book, The Deep. Oh my gosh, looking forward to that. Next book I read was The Auctorati by Jarrod D. King. I read this. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the world a lot. I felt like it needed a little bit more fleshing out, a little bit more expansion going on in this book. Like, just expansion of characters, missions, motivations. But I do feel like there's a really strong ground and foundation already set up in this book that just needs to be expanded on and fleshed out a little bit more. I would like to see a lot more expansion of this world, because it's a really good world. It's like an urban fantasy world, that there's dragons, well, a dragon, there's a burning forest, that just never like goes up, like engulfs in flame. It's like flames burning up. It's so interesting and fascinating. And I also love just the formatting of this book, because I feel like this kind of formatting and the paper that was used in this book, because there's like a little bit of like a light texturing to the page, and I feel like that is, dare I say, ADHD friendly. Reading this book, just the formatting itself, just how there's like space, like there's still a spaciousness between the lines, the sentences in paragraphs and stuff, and just like the little texture within like the light texturing on the page that kept it like busy enough to keep my mind stimulated while I'm reading, and it was spacious enough that it gave me room to kind of my mind to breathe as I read. So it's like I could really get immersed in the story. It's almost to the point I almost felt like, am I missing stuff? I'm like reading this a lot like more comfortably and quickly and just rapidly. But I do think that the texturing and just the formatting is just so ADHD friendly. I understand why it probably isn't more widely done with other books, because it does take up a little bit more page real estate. For other books that are like already 400 pages long that aren't this spacious, it will probably turn into like 900 page long book. It would be a lot more expensive for publishers to publish books that way, but you know, it would be amazing if they did that. Some of these books that are 400 pages anyway, they don't need to be 400 pages. They needed to be like cut down a lot more. Some of the stuff needs to be edited out. So I think they might need to invest a little bit more in editors who can be a little bit more aware of like what needs to be edited out of a goddamn book and not kept, because some of the stuff that's in books, it would make the book so much better while giving the ability to kind of like reformat books so that they are a lot easier to read, a lot more comfortable. Granted, yes, I can read a book like on a Kindle or something. I don't really want to do that, girl. I like reading physical books a lot, you know. Not all of my books I will be able to read physically, but I definitely like reading books physically. After that, I started All Boys Aren't Blue, and I'm like 58 pages in. I just recently started it. It's like, I am enjoying it a lot. It's tapping, like initially starting to read it, I kind of felt like, oh, this is like stuff that, some of the stuff at the beginning kind of was like, oh, this is stuff that I've already kind of like started working on in my head, like thinking about in my head and kind of like work through in my head. But the more I read, it made me think about my own youth and how I understood my identity as a child. Like I was so much more aware of my identity and so much more comfortable, and it's just like as you get older and you experience other people and experience the rules of what it means to be a particular, like how you like show up in the world, it has kind of changed my trajectory or my understanding of my own identity. And now I have to, with this book, it's helping me to kind of re-tap into my authentic true identity from when I was like a child. It's not easy, because then it's like you still have to contend with what you've learned through other people, through your family, through your friends, through school, through the larger world, society. Like so much of it is just like you have to contend with all of that, and then to kind of like sift that out from what you like, from your birth, from your childhood, from when you were like coming into your innate natural identity, like sifting that out from how other people, from all the, I don't know, baggage of identity that other people have put on you. Like it's a lot of work that's gonna be that needs to be done. A lot of work that definitely gonna have to get a therapist about that, girl. I'm enjoying this book so far, and I'm looking forward to getting through it and reading it. And it's been, although, you know, the formatting is a little different on this and it's a little tighter, it's a pretty accessible, easy read. I'm enjoying this, and I am looking forward to seeing how much more revelations and more I can learn about myself through this book. I appreciate George M. Johnson for this. Thank you, George. You are amazing. You are an amazing person, and I am grateful to you for just being out there. Like, I have seen George speak on the Grapevine TV. It's great to read this book from them, because they have been very, 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 like, they handle their business on the Grapevine TV. They be breaking it down for you, and I'll be like, okay, George, get your life, okay? Tell these people what's up. I think they've tackled some of this stuff on the Grapevine TV, where they talk about a lot of stuff that happens with Black culture and within the Black community. And that is something that I've had to do, that I've been dealing with also this month in June. The intersection of LGBTQIA plus people and Blackness. And that really kind of, I feel like that really came to a head for Juneteenth, or like post Juneteenth, when I think there was like this video going around Twitter, at least in the Black Twitter space. There was a video of, I guess, people celebrating Juneteenth in, I think, South Dakota, or maybe it was Portland, I'm not sure. It's one of those states where like it's a lot of white people and there aren't as many Black people, or you don't think there are as many people of color, or at least at Black people in those states, because it's so widely white represented. But there was a video of them like putting up this flag. They were putting up the trans flag with a Black Power fist on it. There was also the Pride flag that went up, and it was for Juneteenth, and it was like people chanting Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. There were people who, especially a lot of Hotepi people, that were like, gay people and trans people are like, you know, co-opting Blackness and the Black movement and all that stuff. And it's like, it's not LGBTQIA people that are co-opting it. It is that there are LGBTQIA plus Black people that are within the Black community. So it's almost like you try, and that's the thing, like on my TBR for June, I got a comment that said that, hey, it wasn't, they didn't say hey, but they were like, oh, what are y'all doing for Black people? Y'all, now that it's like all this is going on with, you know, Black Lives Matter, y'all are trying to co-opt it and get into it and take it over. And it's just like, I read that as this person is trying to say that I, as a Black person who is also a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, it almost feels like they're trying to say that because I am saying that I am a part of the LGBTQIA plus community, that I am not really a Black person. Because that's what it sounds like to me. And the more I hear the sentiment of people complaining that, hey, you know, trans people and gay people are like, you know, they trying to like march alongside us, and they trying to say all this stuff with Black Lives Matter and blah blah blah, and they trying to put their flags in there too, and put Black Power fists on LGBTQIA flags and stuff like that. Like they're trying to take our movement away from us, and it's like, we're not trying to take the movement away from you. We're trying to show our intersectionality with the Black community and with the LGBTQIA plus community. And that's the issue that a lot of Black people who are a part of the LGBTQIA plus community have to deal with. We have to deal with the LGBTQ plus community not seeing us as Black people as a part of the community because of racism, and we have to see Black people within the Black community not seeing us LGBTQIA plus people as part of, they're not seeing us as Black people, although our skin is very clearly Black, our hair is very coily, our features are very Afrocentric. They're not seeing us as Black because they're like, well, LGBTQIA plus people that's not a part of Blackness. That doesn't exist as Black people. And I'm like, we are testaments, examples to that. Like, how you gonna say that we not? But all right, I see how y'all stand. And that whoever that was, I do feel like that comment, it was a man, but it might be a woman, but it might be a man. But I do feel like whoever left that comment, they didn't see me as, at that point, once you claim your identity as queer, they don't see you as Black anymore. And although some of them would be like, well, you're Black before you're queer, they, at that point, they're not really saying you're Black before you're queer. It feels like they're just saying either you Black or you queer. And if you're queer, then it's like, you're not really a part of us. Like, not at all. You have to, if you feel like you're gonna say you Black, then you gotta divorce yourself from being queer, because that's not really a thing. That don't exist. That's not happening. And I get it, because the face of the LGBTQIA plus community is usually white gay men, usually mostly white men. they are usually more at the forefront. They're the ones fighting for so much more than anybody else within the LGBT community, and they're all fighting for like marriage equality, but they're not fighting for the equality of all people within the LGBTQIA community. They're not fighting for they're not fighting for immigrants unless they're like trying to get their like boyfriend from another country to America. They wouldn't fight for actual like immigrants, like people of color immigrants, unless they can fetishize them. That's what they're here for. They're here to like, I'm going to marry my husband who is also a white man, but we don't really care about black people. We don't care about trans black people. We don't care about, other people within the community like that. We don't care because that don't got nothing to do with us. So we out. We're just out here for our marriage equality and for us to raise, to get our disposable income going up and that we can adopt our kids. All right, girl, we see you. And I understand why black people would feel that way about the LGBTQI community because of the face of the community. But we do exist. The thing about black LGBTQIA plus people is that most of us, from my understanding and from my experience and from what I've seen, most of us as black people usually come together as a black LGBTQIA plus people, and we are very aware of our blackness. We are very much love our blackness, but we also love our queerness. For most of us, we're still kind of outside of the LGBTQIA plus community, but we're always very much within the black community. We've grown up with black families, black parents, black friends, black communities, black support, so much of it. Black LGBTQ people, we out here, we exist in, and we matter. Especially black trans lives. Black trans lives matter because from my understanding, they are in this social hierarchy, they are very much at the bottom and they need to be taken care of and protected because at the end of the day, if we're not protecting and taking care of them, the rest of us ain't safe. The rest of us isn't safe. It's gonna take it a little longer because the oppression has to work its way through the hierarchy and the rungs before it gets to you, but it'll get to you in time if you don't get down here and help and protect those most vulnerable in this society. Like if you're not protecting them, it's gonna get to you. It's gonna be helpful for like everybody out here. It's gonna be helpful. It's gonna take care of all of us. So like, let's do this. Let's do the work to take care of all of us, all of our identities, all marginalized identities, all these identities out here. Like, intersectionality is important. Let me tell you what I was listening to in the month of June. I listened to Chromatica by Lady Gaga because I think Chromatica came out at the ending of May. And I really needed that because it's like a nice, fun dance album to dive into. I enjoyed it. I loved that it was all dance. I had a great time listening to Chromatica. I enjoyed the bulk of the album. I loved it. I think that third chapter, that third act of the album, I think is it my favorite? I think it's my favorite. It's fun. I like it. I love the entire album. It's just anthemic and empowering, and it's sexy, and it's just fun to dance to. So I had fun with Chromatica. Soon enough, my good girlies, Chloe X Halle, they released Ungodly Hour. So that was exciting for me. I had a blast. I'm having a blast listening to it. I think it is one of the best albums of the year. It's had a lot of great albums for the year, but that's one of the best albums for the year. Like, if not the best album. It's so good. It's such great R&B. It pushes some boundaries. It's experimental, but it's also very like taking it back to like a throwback to the 90s, early 2000s, giving you a little bit of Destiny's Child flavor, a little bit of Destiny's Child tease. Just that fresh Chloe and Halle experimentation, songwriting. And it's just great to hear them all sexy and grown up, cussing in your head, cussing in your face, cussing in your head, telling you what's up. Like, they showing you like, we grown out here, we can cuss, but not even just that we could cuss, but we about to tell you this is the real about what's going on with our lives. Parkwood is handling their business with these women. They are handling their business with not even that. These women already know what's up, because I think like I've been watching the interviews and stuff, like what they've done. What people like asking them questions like about the songs and like, so we heard that this like Chloe Chloe, we heard the song Busy Boy, and some of these songs on here are about Diggy and stuff like that. You were like linked with Diggy, and y'all were like in a little relationship, like what's up? And Chloe's like, well, you know, it's great that we can write these songs that kind of talk about our lives, and our grownish cast members, like, they enjoyed the album and they were super supportive and blah blah blah. And I was like, hold on, because everybody keeps talking about it, like, yo, they're what do they call that thing again? That thing that they that you do, like, in artist development, media training. That's it right there. Like, people were like, oh, their media, like, Parkwood's got them on some good media training, but I'm hearing that, like, they were like, oh, we ain't got no media training, sis. We're out here, we know what's up. We know how to speak and keep people out of our business. You can speculate how you want to speculate, but we give you what we give you, and you can take from that how you take it, but it is what it is. Until we confirm that something is one way or another, take it how you want to take it, but we mind our business. We tell whatever is our business, you mind your business, okay? That's what's up. I'm loving them. I love their personality. I love the art, the artistry, the music, everything that's going on. I love them so much, and I appreciate them, and I stand them down. And I'm looking forward to just seeing how much more are they going to use out of this tennis court, their tennis court in the back. How much more they're going to give us out of this era of Ungodly Hour. Like, oh, I stand. Oh my gosh. Crown on their heads. Oh, I'm excited. I'm standing out here for my good girlies. What's up? Y'all, I tell you, I'm such a bird. I live for my birdness. I want to talk about, like, how I'm feeling about the community. I am loving the growth that so many Black booktubers are having. I am loving that there's the Black booktuber tag, and that is helping to give more Black booktubers more visibility. It's also giving Black booktubers the ability to be found within the community a lot easier, so that we can all have that engagement, have all of that, like, communication and community and connection that we've been striving for. Get those subscriber counts up. But I definitely want to say, for the audience out there, for Black content creators, just for all booktubers and everything out there, definitely watch the videos from beginning to end so that our retention can be good and it can be amazing. I don't care if you feel like you fall off halfway, watch the entire video. Please watch the entire video. Give us our retention so that even if you may not subscribe off of 3 videos or whatever, or for that one video, definitely give us that retention so that the algorithm can still be able to say, hey, somebody still watched this video from the beginning to the end. Even if they didn't like, even if they didn't comment, they still watch it from the beginning to the end. So we're willing to, like, you know, push this to somebody else who might actually subscribe, comment, like, and everything. So definitely, if you're, like, in order to really, really support Black content creators, even if you don't subscribe to their content, watch the video from the beginning to the end so that they can have that retention. Please, I think that is something that is super important. It is very much as important as liking and commenting. So please do that. It is necessary, it is needed, it is important. Thank you. I want everybody in the community to do that. It helps with Black booktubers growing, and I do feel like it helps with a lot of other marginalized communities within booktube to grow. Please do the equitable thing and just kind of give us that retention time. Like, give us that retention. At least even like the video if it needs to be. You know, comment on the video and just say great video or hi or whatever. Just like, but definitely give us that retention from beginning to end. Let the video be, let it register in the algorithm as, like, watch from beginning to end. Thank you. I'm just glad that so many Black booktubers are growing and we are getting visibility out here and people are finding us, and I'm appreciating so much of the innovation that is happening within the community. I am trying to watch as many Black booktubers as possible, but I'm also trying to watch other booktubers that are not Black. I'm still trying to be very, 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 like, not prejudiced about my booktube watching, but I also feel like Black booktubers and Black content creators need that energy. I want to give them my energy like that, but I also still want to connect with non-Black booktubers as well, because they're out there, they're making interesting content as well. I don't want to not watch their content too, but you know, I only have so much time and so much bandwidth in the day, so I try to watch everything as best as I can. And I have a little haul that happened. I got a few books that are gonna come in handy for the month of July. Plus, I got me a cute little bag or whatever. Your girl got her oh my gosh, bitch. It's the fucking bitch. It's Telfar, and it's got the little bag. When I saw this come across my Instagram timeline, I was like, girl, I got to have this. This is Telfar, a black-owned black designer, and they have this sickening bag called the shopping bag. Yeah, I believe it. Well, it's a Telfar bag, but it's like a Telfar shopping bag. It is so good. It is so clutch. I already have a black one. This is my black Telfar bag. It is very, very like comfortable and convenient. It is vegan leather. It's pretty quality. It's affordable. It's a $200 bag. It's not that much money, but it still gives you enough luxury at an affordable price with quality, and it is not like hurting animals. It's vegan leather. It's quality content. So I love it. It holds my stuff. It's my everyday bag. This is what they call the everyday Telfar shopping bag, and I love it. Because at first when I was looking at it, I was like, ooh, I was scared. It's not going to fit all the stuff that I need, but it fits it can fit my lunch, plus it fits the books that I'm reading, plus it fits my planner, my little pouch that keeps my tabs and stuff. She's a cute girl. Get you a Telfar bag if you want a nice lightweight something to carry your stuff. Plus it's got the long handles that you could throw across you, cross body, and just carry it when you just don't want to hold it in your hands like that. I love my Telfar, it came across that they had the gold with the little bag and stuff, so I was like, bitch, I need to get it. Impulse buy. This is a sickening impulse buy, but I went there and I did that. So I got the cute little gold version of it. This is some exclusivamente stuff, child. So I was just I went and got the gold, bitch, and I'm excited because gold is my thing. I love a good gold, okay? I'm a gold kind of girl. So your girl got herself, and it's got the little pouch bag, so I'm here for this. So I got me the cute little gold for the special occasion. She's a cute girl, so I'm excited about that. Got my Telfar. She's a nice lightweight thing, and she holds herself down. It's a nice affordable bag just for your everyday something to kind of knock around, but it's luxury enough, just your little starter Lux bag kind of thing. But that's just me, I know I'm feeding into capitalism, but at the end of the day, we still gotta exist in this capitalistic society until capitalism is dismantled, and in the meantime, try to navigate capitalism and its destructive behavior as best as possible. Okay, I got this. I could probably open it like this without the box cutter. Oh yes, I got A Taste of Honey by Ashante Wilson. Somehow I came across and saw it, and I was like, bitch, this looks cute, and this looks like it's gonna be fantasy and gay. So I was just with a softer, more, I don't know, femme presenting, black gay, it was just giving me black and queer and fantasy, and I was just I gotta read this because this looked like it's about to be right up my alley. And the bonus points that there's some sexualidad up in here. I don't know if there's gonna be any sexualidad, but I would love it. But there probably won't be, but I just want some fantasy and black queer romance, okay? I want that. But this is the second book in the, the Sorcerer of Wildeeps series. I'm not sure what the series is called, but this is the follow-up to the Sorcerer of Wildeeps, so I'm looking forward to reading this and reading the Sorcerer of Wildeeps. Next book I got, yes, it is 3 books. So this is the first one, the Sorcerer of Wildeeps. This is hot to me because, your boy is out here, a warrior. Oof. Put your body all over me, honey, do you see? He is sexy, and he's a warrior to protect to protect your girl over here. You know, she wants to be like in his strong arms or whatever. He's just out here to protect you, you know, take down all the enemies that, you know, that's coming for us or whatever, you know. That's my kind of mean or whatever. Anyway, so I'm excited about reading this, and I am looking forward to seeing how queer and fantasy and I'm just looking forward to seeing what's about to go down. I'm excited about this. One of my friends from book club, they read it. I did not ask them how it went for them, but they read it, so I will definitely ask them and like we'll have a little discussion about it. Maybe we could do a little live discussion. Maybe we'll see. Kai Asante Wilson might become one of my favorite authors going forward. Another book I got is Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda by Dwight Allen O'Neill. I first found out about him like years ago when I was young. I almost want to say baby gay, but not really a baby gay. Just like new to the gay, black gay community, black gay scene. He has a web series called Christopher Street, which is a play on words for the infamous Christopher Street in New York City, in the Village, where us as black gay people would go, and black queer people would go, and just to kind of be amongst other black gay people and just to be amongst the queer community. And he was like a part of the community, a part of the black gay social New York community coming up at the time, and I've always kind of like followed him a little bit. And recently he just started with his podcast called Shoulda, Coulda, Woulda that I started listening to, which I find quite interesting, just to hear about him, hear about stuff that he's going through, stuff that he shoulda, coulda, and woulda done, and all that stuff. So he wrote this book, and I'm looking forward to reading this and learning more about him, because there's only so much I know about him. I wasn't minding everybody's business like that, so it'd be interesting to read more about him. He was very empowering and inspiring for me, because he just lived like his truth and his honesty boldly, and just himself always. He went after what he wanted to do. He did all that he needed to do to pivot and live his life the best he can. And you know, I'm looking forward to reading this book. Like, and this is another book that I can add to the list of like black writers and creators and influential black gay people. I'm glad to add him to it. And another book I got, Chulito, a novel by Charles Rice Gonzales. I read this years ago. Like, I enjoyed reading it. It was such a good book. Like, it was very much like when I picked this up and I saw this, I was like, ooh, this is about to give me some like B-boy blues vibes. I had to read this. So I read it and I enjoyed it a lot. It was really deep. I lent this to somebody and I never got it back, but that was fine because they deserved to read it. The guy who I lent it to, he was like, how he said it, he was dealing with Latinx trade. Well, he didn't exactly, but that's me paraphrasing. So I was like, I need to get this book back, reread it again. I enjoyed it the first time. It's got Chulito, our more masculine Latinx character, who is dealing with coming to terms with his own identity of being a part of the LGBTQIA community, and also having a friend, a more feminine character that he might have feelings for or had feelings for, and just dealing with with machismo and with his identity as a man with masculinity and all that stuff. So it explores a lot of that, and I'm looking forward to rereading this. Plus, it's also set in New York. I think he's in the Bronx, and I tell you, I love reading. Like, when I was reading The Poet X, it made me think of this book, because it made me think of like just New York, like, and especially New York from a Latinx perspective. Like, I do find books just about people living in New York so fascinating, especially black people and Latinx people living in New York. I find them so interesting, and just people who live in like the Bronx and Harlem, their perspectives are just always still considerably very interesting to me and very like exciting. But I love my Brooklyn people, and I love we're not gonna talk about Queens, but I love my Brooklyn people and my Manhattan like vibe, because you know, I'm still a Gossip Girl kind of girl. I love my Upper East Side, as capitalist central as that bitch is, and kind of racist and terrible. I do love the luxury of it. I'm terrible. I know I need to work through all that. But Chulito, I'm excited about rereading this. I will reread this sometime soon, later this year or something. I'm excited about it. Next up, oh, child, she almost cut me, huh? Oh, be safe with your blades, girlies. Oh my gosh, why is this being so problematic? Come on, come on, come on. I'm trying to cut open here. Give me a break. After my discussion of An Unkindness of Ghosts with Erica and Wendy, we decided that we're gonna read another book together. So we decided we're gonna read How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. We're supposed to be reading that for July. And that book hasn't come to me yet. But we also decided that we will read Pet by Akweke Emezi and Binti by Nnedi Okorofor. We are planning to read those in future installments of us like getting together and reading books and talking, buddy reading them and talking. I still haven't gotten How Long Till Black Future Month. That's coming next week. I'm a little upset. Like, come on, y'all could have sent me that. Plus, we're also going to read Freshwater by Akweke Emezi, and that is also coming in the same shipment with How Long Till Black Future Month, and that is the book that comes before this one. So I'm just kind of like, I'm in my bag right now because I'm like, okay, y'all could have sent the Freshwater, and y'all could have sent How Long Till Black Future Month like sooner or in the same goddamn package. But whatever, girl, I'm gonna live. Okay, I'm gonna be fine. I'm excited about these books. I'm excited to read these in time. The months are going to come when I will read them. I'm excited to read all these books. I haven't had these many paperback books in a while because, you know, these days I have become a hardcover snob, but I understand that some books just don't always come in hardcover, and I'm fine. I'll deal with it. I'm an adult. I can handle. But I'm excited to read these books. I got my little haul of my things or whatever, you know. I plan to do some buddy reads in the future. I plan to buddy read Full Disclosure with L'Amour de Books. So I'm looking forward to doing that with Jasmine. I am excited about that. Plus, I also need to buddy read with Deidre of Shade Tree Reads. That's my good girly, so I definitely want to buddy read with her. Plus, Deidre and I were thinking about buddy reading Afar, since she also got Afar, and I'm like, I also have it, and I'm looking forward to reading this. I am excited about reading this. I'm willing to buddy read 2 books with her. This one, and Deidre recently read Drama High, The Fight by Elle Devine. I read this years ago, like right in my transition from more street lit novels to reading like young adult contemporary drama filled books like Gossip Girl. So like I read only this book. When I read this initially, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't in love with it. I didn't necessarily feel the need to continue the series. But after seeing Deidre read it, I'm kind of interested in continuing and seeing what happens after this. It was like very much supposed to be kind of like That's a Raven, because there's like magic in there, but also a lot of fashion and style. I am willing to reread it again and see how much further into the series I'm interested in getting. Deidre and I, we got some other books to buddy read and get into. Plus, I also have to do my buddy read of Wildcard with May from the channel May Bonk. So I'm looking forward to like buddy reading with everybody. Let's discuss these books, child. I'm here for all of it. Let's do it. We will see if I get into like doing a TBR for the buddy read, because at the end of the day, I didn't tap into the prompts for Prideathon or for Throwbackathon. Honestly, that's been the theme of the year. I did a TBR for Blackathon, and I did a TBR for Asian Readathon, and I did not do any of the prompts. I just did whatever I wanted. So I kind of did that this year too. Also for the Juneteenth Blackathon 2.5 read along, like I also kind of just did whatever I wanted. Like I read Black books, I read LGBTQIA queer books, like that's all I did. I read those books. I think I didn't hit exact prompts, but I hit major, goal of these readathons. So, so hopefully going forward for next month, I'm going to hit like the yeah, I probably won't hit those prompts. But you know, I'm gonna still kind of take part in my own loose leaf way of doing the pop culture readathon and also doing the reading rush. Oh gosh, I'm supposed to read a lot of books for the reading rush. We'll see how that works out. But thank you for spending your time with me. I had fun with this video, and I'm out this bitch like Fleet.